Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. So as promised, it's a little Q&A time. I got a few good questions and do my best to answer them. So sit tight. Alright, I got the iPad here. Let's get to the video so I can read the questions. Alright, that's enough of that. Alright. So, first question is from, Jesus, right between the freaking Tioga Fretworks. Is asking, let me give you the Reader's Digest condensed version here. Now that I've made both style of necks, set neck and bolt on, which one I feel is easier and why. And also he states most newbies are scared to death of a set neck, and why is it that that's my comfort zone. Which one's easier? I gotta say probably the Fender style is easier. In the method I did it with a two-way truss rod, because you just basically cut the wood out, lay your channel in, and you're good to go. Probably the most tricky part of it was drilling that hole in there and getting that lined up with the truss rod. I had to drill that in there with a small bit and then get in with a bigger bit, because you know, it's drill was like right in here, and once I got the hole through, then I got in there with a piece of wooden spindle with some sandpaper and some round files, and managed to get it lined up correctly. Let's see, why is set neck my comfort zone? The first scratch build I made was a Les Paul, and I just looked at probably 50 or 60 videos. I did a lot of research on how to make that neck. So I've made a dozen or so of them, and you know, I just find that process much easier. I mean, they both have their intricacies, I guess is the word. On the Fender style neck, I think this is probably the most difficult thing to achieve. Now, if I had a huge long drill bit, would have been a lot easier. And on the set neck type, like the Gibson style, the trick is where you cut back for the tenon. The trick is to get that angle right here correct, and actually found that that wasn't that difficult with the correct tools. You know, you basically, hang on a second. All right, we're back. Took me a second to find it. On a Les Paul, you have a carved top, and it's routed to a 4.4 degree on the top. And what you do is you take this, lay this on your top, and then get it to go down straight at, you know, like the nose of the neck, and then you would transfer that to your neck like this. So this angle right here is where you would cut in for your tenon. As long as this angle is correct, once you put the neck on and it's glued down, this comes up flush right against the nose of the guitar, and you're good to go. and I've done that so many times I could do it in my sleep. Sure, there's a little fine tuning with sandpaper between the body and the end of the neck, but that's usually pretty much simple. All right, second question is from Audio Tech Labs, asking me, do I plan on putting volutes on my necks? Volutes, volutes, however you want to pronounce it, depending on what part of this globe you're at. I've never made a guitar neck with a volute. Fender doesn't use them because their necks are made of maple, and they're hard as crap, and there's no break angle at the nut for the headstock. It's just a straight shot. They get their break angle by using string trees. So there's no big route for the end of the truss rod, so they really don't need any fenders. Gibson in the 70s started building their guitars with volutes on them, and also started using maple necks on the Les Pauls and other guitars. It was a great idea, you know. How often do you ever see one of those guitars with a broken headstock? Almost never, as compared to the 17-degree headstock angle on a mahogany neck, which, you know, a lot of people say they sound better after they get broken and glued back together. I don't know. I can't attest to that. But basically the reason they stopped with the volute is that the purists were all up in arms about it. So they caved, and they went back to making necks in an inferior manner. And you know, it's an argument that's out there, but yeah, you know what? I feel that headstock angle and using mahogany, you get short grain at the angle of the headstock, and it's very weak. And you know, but they caved to the whims of the purists. If I ever had a chance to buy a Les Paul with a mahogany, with a maple neck and a volute, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Far better neck construction, and like I said, you hardly ever see them with broken headstocks. All right, question number 3 from I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Patrig Floyd. Will you be filming the fretting of the walnut fretboard? Yeah, I can fill some of that. Might be useful to know how to deal with the hardness of the wood. Yeah. Basically, I'm just banging them in, you know. Also, would you consider a through neck? Yeah, you know, I've been toying with the idea of doing a through neck. Have to do a little more investigating about the neck angle and that type of thing with the body. But yeah, I definitely see myself doing that. All right, next question. This one's from Andrew Allen Guitars. He's asking about the nut slot on this one with the Fender style nut and the binding. What I'm going to do with that is I have a very small bit that'll fit in my my Dremel, and carve that out. Probably use, you know, tiny little chisels and whatever to get that out, and test fit a piece of bone in there and see what it is. And then at that point, while it's in there, I'll measure the string spacing, and if the string spacing is too close to the edge, then probably what I'm going to do is just cut down in the binding, and then have the nut go over the end of the binding. So I'm going to try it one way first, and if that's not feasible, then we'll just cut the binding out a little bit, because it's not going to go all the way down to the actual wood. There's going to be something left. It's not going right through the fretboard. The nut is not going all the way through, so it's only going to probably maybe halfway down or so. So cutting the binding and laying the nut over the top of the binding where that channel is should work out pretty good. All right, next question is from Virgil Pirelio. Says he's built mostly bolt-on necks and just one set neck. Wants me to talk about doing set necks and how I get the break angle. Do I put the angle in the pocket, or do I angle the heel? I angle the pocket. This way the neck just fits straight, flat, right down into the body. Same thing when doing a junior style set neck. A junior style set neck, you basically just make the heel like you would a fender, but you angle the neck pocket and then glue it in rather than bolting it in. Good question. All right, next question. Nemesis. What are the implications of placing the truss rod higher or lower towards the headstock versus towards the body? I actually don't really know, because this one right here is the first one where I've ever put a truss rod. No, it's not. I've done a couple. The way I'm seeing it in my head is that when you move a truss rod, it flexes in the middle. Whether it adjusts at the top, you know, you still have that section this big before the rod actually starts with a dual action truss rod. So whether that section is at the headstock or at the heel of the neck, you're still basically in the same ballpark with adjustment in the center of the neck. So I don't think it's going to make a big difference, but once I finish this neck, I'll let you know for sure. Okay? Alright, so that's the end of the questions. I just went out and picked up a new rasp. You see, I got some carving to do on the neck for the instigator. And what I've been using to carve those out with is, I'm getting them. Been using one of these and one of these. Either one of those I haven't really been 100% satisfied with how they functioned. So I broke down, went out and got one of these Shinto saw rasps. Boy, you could do some destruction with this thing. I'm looking forward to trying this out, and I'll let you know how it performs. It's got coarse teeth on one side and finer teeth on the other side. So you should get some nice clean cuts with this. Whereas, you know, this leaves some pretty nasty chaff after, and same thing with this. Carving out the arm contour and the belly contour in this little monkey right here. At that point, while I was doing this, I definitely realized that I needed a better tool to do it with, and I'm looking forward to giving that a try. So that video will be coming up pretty soon. So that's it for the Q&A. Guys, thanks for the questions. I hope I answered them well enough for you. Yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, you guys, behave yourself, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.